Coming up today on the 26-minute Dakar, we've got drama in the cars as Petter Hansel's hopes go up in a cloud of desert dust. The Dakar hits new heights as the bikes reach for the heavens. Part 2 of the marathon pushes man and machine to breaking point in the bikes. The damage mounts up as the racers face huge adversity in the Argentine deserts. And in today's Dakar Passions, the big names reflect on their Dakar debut. All this and more on stage 4 from San Juan to Chilecito. Previously in the cars. It's all change as Roma takes the ascendancy, but he is taking nothing for granted. The Dakar is a race that's really strange. One day you're at the top, the next you're not. He's being hounded by Nasser in the second mini home. While those around him fall apart, Carlos Sainz is keeping his focus. But will the buggy last the distance? The strategy for this week is patience. Opening the road and crashing through the undergrowth cost Petter Hansel dearly. His hopes of winning are rapidly deflating. It feels like the race is slipping away. Anyway, things are getting more complicated. Let's not forget about De Villiers and Leroy Poulter. The Imperial Toyotas are still in the hunt as the cars attack day 4 of the Dakar. It was a very long day on the Dakar for the cars, split into 2 parts to total 657k. Heat would be the main issue for the longest special of the Dakar since 2005. And trouble hit several big guns in the overall standings, like Eric Weavers in his HRX Ford, who was 9th overall in the morning. Also stranded on the side of the road was Leroy Poulter, the South African rookie. After suffering 4 punctures yesterday, Stefan Petter Hansel needed to hit back and put the pressure on his teammate and overall leader, Nani Roma.
Qu'est-ce que c'est? On est bien, il y a les Y droite, c'est plus tard.
26-43, dans 200 mètres à corde. Ah merde, fais demi-tour, fais demi-tour. Putain, j'ai loupé.
Pas terrible ça. Là en plus c'est des notes importantes.
After that detour, the Frenchman was then forced to stop with the first puncture at the early start of the stage. While Carlos Sainz zoomed past. It's very tough for my confidence. In such conditions we don't dare drive fast, as we just don't know where to put our wheels. Minutes later, it was El Matador's turn to stop for a puncture. And this time, Petter made the best of it. Still, Sainz was flying, showing that his SMG isn't only made for dunes and sand. Local hero Orlando Terranova is enjoying a great race so far, showing that he's learned from his past mistakes. Second overall in the morning, the Argentinian, however, struggled with navigation and dropped down to 4th. Daniel De Villiers was flying on the first part of the stage with the 3rd best time at the halfway mark. He was then forced to stop due to mechanical issues and is still expected at the finish. A tough day for Nani Roma. On such a stage, the Catalan couldn't do much against the flying Carlos Sainz. His time in the Dakar lead will have only lasted 1 day. Meanwhile, Nasser Al-Attiyah was charging. Indeed, the Qatari gained 5 minutes over Roma, reducing his overall time deficit by half.
It's a good day for us, and except one flat tires. I'm quite happy from the performance.
On his Dakar debut, Federico Villagra is making the best of his Mini. The Argentine captured a great 4th spot. Overall, he's only 43 minutes adrift. And there was drama all the way to the finish for the Mini boys. 3 of them, including Alatia, struggling with navigation. And without such a mistake, the Qatari could have captured the overall lead. The battle continued between Peter Hansel and Carlos Sainz, who eventually went on to claim his 26th stage win, his first in an SMG buggy that took command of the race overall. Slowly but surely we moved to the front and we managed to clock a good time. But we're pretty lucky because I broke the power steering with 10 Ks to go. So Carlos Sainz takes it from Peter Hansel, Alatia in 3rd, Villanova in 4th, and Nani Roma drops to 5th on the day. Overall, it's a 2-minute lead now for Carlos Sainz over Roma. Alatia gaining ground all the time. Terranova pops up into the top 5. Peter Hansel still in 5th position, 18 minutes back. The Dakar is as much about the countries we visit as the men and women who race through them. Day 3 in Argentina broke new routes through mountains. Mountains that will take your breath away and tested the limits of the riders.
Muy larga.
Really long.
Muy dura.
Really hard.
It
was an inhuman stage. The bikes are suffering, and all of us are really suffering. It was all difficult, but it's good. This is the Dakar. To reach the summit, first you have to climb the mountain, a feat that took man and machine to their utmost limits. I'm a mountain climber, and I don't have many problems with the altitude. But the bike tends to give up, so that's the problem. So difficult. This mountain was the fight of my career. It's incredible. Terrible. This must be the hardest day in the history of the Dakar. Terrible.
Terrible.
Left! Go left! Go left! Ah, that's not possible. Not like that. It's incredible. Stop the car! Open the door. It's okay, get out here. We need to get it back on its wheels. That's all. It's not true.
4 ou 5 fois,
4 or
je dis,
5
tu fais
times
le
I
tour.
said go here,
Tu prends la butte
and then
là.
you took the hill.
Ça arrive. Y a pas de...
Well, that happens.
Parce que là, ça
That's
fait
why
une
we
heure et
lost
demie,
an hour and a
mais
half.
on va y être encore pendant
But now
2-3
we
heures,
might
s'il y a
lose
pas
3 or
de
4
camion
hours.
qui vient, et puis
And if
il
there's no
reste
truck,
la nuit, hein.
we'll be here all night. Coming next in the bikes, it's Marathon Day 2. The war of attrition continues as riders fight alone against the elements. Not all will make it home. Previously in the bikes. Bereda is riding high with a healthy race lead. The Honda rider is powering away from his rivals.
Eso significa que
It's significant
la moto
because the
corre
motor
mucho,
is
que
strong.
tenemos
We have so much
mucho
potential.
potencial.
Dupre is back on his A game, while Lopez is yet to show his true speed, and the Chilean is playing the long game. But how long can he wait to pounce?
It's very long in the Dakar, no es posible attack.
One KTM is making moves. Coma is coming. I'm going to try and get back the time I lost yesterday. Think it'll go well. For last year's runner-up, Ruben Faria, the race is over as the Dakar begins to bite back. Day 4 dropped us down to 146 bikes as the race geared up for the 352 Ks to Chilecito. The bikes were to race away from the highest peaks to the Valle de Calangasta, where the day special began. Bereda would lead the field, but early on, he started to lose time, and then it all went wrong. Kicked off the bike, drama for the Honda rider.
I back sometimes because I don't know where I stay in that moment, and so nervous, and I crash sometimes, and after that I push hard and I recover some time. It's okay, only I have really pain on my hand. We see now with my physio.
Finally, the Dakar has bitten back. And it also bit back for the champion Dupre. He was faster than Bereda, but he was losing time to Coma. And suddenly, with the end in sight, he stopped and lost 42 minutes. Disaster for the defending champ. Catalan Coma is really beginning to look like the man of previous years. His smooth style conserving his energy on the long days racing as he fought for the top step all stage long. Marathon stages push the bikes to the limit and are often decisive in the overall outcome of the Dakar. For Kuba Sigonski, it was a chance to push the edges of the top 10. Rian van Niekerk was another who raced as well as he ever has done in the opening days, but the South African slowed and lost time at the end of the stage. A great day for the 38 of Jeremiah Israel, who constantly hassled the top riders on the speed brake, eventually coming home fourth. Fares was another who was unable to repeat his performance of the previous day, but his route choice was better than some others. Stefan Zvitko had his best opening on the marathon stage, but he was beginning to suffer on the run into Chilecito. Alain Duclos was fast, but he wasn't the best of the Sherco riders. His early pace faded as fatigue set in, and he dropped to 8th at the line. It was Coma who raised his game in the second half, hassling Lopez and gapping Bereda after his crash. As navigation once more came into it, the KTM rider raised his game. For days-long stages, it looked if Chaleco had it in the bag, leading with poise and grace. But he'll have to wait for another day to get his first win of 2014. Rising out of the mid-pack was the Sherco of Juan Pedrero, snatching the win by 29 seconds from Lopez. His first on the Works Sherco, a new ride for this year. It was a fine win for Pedrero, taking it by 29 seconds from Lopez. Coma at 3 minutes back. Jeremiah Israel in 4th and Olivier Pan sneaking in to 5th, 7 minutes down. Overall, it's now Barreda who leads just from Coma by 3 minutes 10. Lopez has fought his way back into contention 5 minutes off the lead. Day 3 of the Dakar was a true earthquake in the quad category, with the retirement of Marcos Patronelli. The Argentinian went off the track and had to rejoin to the bivouac in the helicopter. Disappointed, but not injured. I wasn't racing hard, I wasn't in a rush, I just wanted to complete another stage of the Dakar, and I went into a ditch. I often say there's always something to learn. Today, I learned something new. The retirement of Patronelli blows the category wide open, and we'll have a new winner in the quads for 2014. Sebastian Husseini led the race today, but he lost a lot of time in the last part of the stage, where quad riders have to climb once again above 3,000 metres. Meanwhile, the Dutchman, who based out of Dubai, is in contention with Sergio Lafuente, the 3rd overall. Yesterday, Rafał Sonik pulled the lead with a gap of 6 minutes 10 from Casale, but today the Polish rider could be the loser of the quad revolution. 100 kilometres from the end of the stage, Sonik lost more than 19 seconds from Casale. Sergio Lafuente was 4th overall, only 7 seconds behind Husseini. Once again, the former Uruguayan wrestling selector is on Husseini's heels. He was only 40 seconds behind before the end of the stage of the day. Ignacio Casale started the day 2nd overall. The Chilean was leading the stage with 100 kilometres to go, an impressive 17-second gap from his closest rival. Coming next in the trucks, it's all about De Roy as the Flying Dutchman takes charge of the big boys. In amongst the retirement list between San Rafael and San Juan, 2 official riders ended their 2014 Dakar. Ruben Faria fell and was recovered to the bivouac by the medical helicopter. The Portuguese rider had an X-ray that came back clear, but the damage was already done. The bike slipped from my hand, but I don't remember what happened exactly. I lost consciousness, and it's only in the helicopter that I came back to myself. But as you can see, I'm not injured. Yamaha rider Frans Verhoeven also fell. The Dutch rider broke his left arm and retires for the first time since 2010. To complete a Dakar, you have to be totally determined, and for some of the riders we could say stubborn, such as Matthias Szabolcs. Even with a punctured fuel tank, the Hungarian quad rider absolutely refused to retire. Plastic bag acts as a spare tank, and Szabolcs restarts, towing his teammate. 2 out-of-order quad riders running together, only the Dakar can offer this kind of adventure, but with only 2 litres in his spare tank, it doesn't last long, especially if the plastic bag starts to leak. Finally, Szabolcs retired. To be stubborn is one thing, to ride a quad with no fuel is another. For Laia Sanz, the Dakar came together late, but it was worth the wait as thanks to support from Honda Argentina, she's aboard a factory CRF 450. After day 2, she was in a brilliant 25th place, but like many, she suffered in the mountains. The technical skill of Sanz means she's still in the hunt with the best of the elite men. It's been a heady couple of days in the biggest category on the Dakar. 4th overall this morning Hans Stacey remains in contention for a podium spot, as in 2006 and 2012 when he finished second. The question is, can he hope for Dakar glory like in 2007? Alain Lebré in his Queen 69 Tatra is also losing more time. As the days go by, the Czech driver is seeing his title hopes fade away. Despite struggling since the beginning of the rally, title holder Eduard Nikolaev is only 45 minutes behind the overall. And on a Dakar, especially in the truck class, that's nothing. Looking good for Marcel van Vliet. Second overall, the Dutchman has so far enjoyed a trouble-free race. In his new man, he's lost a few minutes on De Roy, but remains solidly on the podium. Slowly but surely, Martin Colomy is moving up the standings. So far, so good for Gerard De Roy. Another great day for the Dutchman in his long-nose overcoat. And again, he remains trouble-free and stays in command of the trucks. Third in 2013, Andrei Karginov was enjoying a great day. With the fastest time at the halfway mark, he was well on his way to a first stage win of the year.
À l'époque, je sentais beaucoup
At
de
the
gasoil.
time, I smelled gasoline because I was in charge of
Donc, je me suis
refueling.
occupé de 2 ravitaillements carburant en plein désert.
I took
C'était
care
à
of 2
Chechenen.
refueling zones in the
Emreti.
middle of the desert, in Chechenen
Et
and
voilà,
Emreti.
pour moi, c'était
It was
mon
my
premier
first Dakar,
et
and I'd
je
found
trouvais
what
ce que
I'd
j'étais
come
venu
for.
chercher, c'est pas le gasoil, évidemment,
Not
mais
gasoline,
c'était
of
cette
course,
notion
but the
de-
wide open
de
landscapes,
grands espaces,
the
d'aventure,
adventure,
de
taking
ravitailler
care of
des
guys in the
types,
middle of the desert
en
in
plein
very
désert, dans des
difficult
conditions,
conditions.
extrêmement difficiles, hein, les potins
At the
de
time,
cycle, d'arrosage,
refueling
donc,
would take a long
plutôt
time, and it
long
was splashy.
et aspergeant, on va dire.
It was in 2011, my first year. The race left from Buenos Aires. I still remember the feeling I had on the start podium. There were so many people. I was very moved. It was my first Dakar. Such a big event.
Un evento tan grande como es el Dakar.
I remember the first stage in Portugal that I won.
Portugal, que la gané, la primera prueba
The first stage in
África,
Africa that I also won.
el primer Dakar, ¿no? Recuerdo que
Everyone was saying that I was going too quickly, that I shouldn't compete like that. I proved that they were wrong.
se ha visto que no.
In 2004, I'd won a contest. I went to the Dakar after having been told only a month before. It was great to take off like that, to live a dream.
Pour réaliser son rêve.
The tough reality of this race. Tough reality because after 3 days of racing, my teammate at Yamaha suffered a crash and lost the use of his legs.
Yamaha tombe et se retrouve tétraplégique. Et là, on s'aperçoit
You realise
que
that the Dakar isn't
le
a game.
Dakar, c'est pas du playback.
It's a real race
avec des
with
vrais
real
dangers, une
dangers,
vraie difficulté.
real difficulties.
C'est ça
That's the
dont,
first reality of the
la
first
première
race.
réalité de la première course.
Tomorrow we head north from Chilecito to San Miguel de Tucumán on the longest stage of the 2014 Dakar, and it looks to be a perfect hunting ground for Sainz and his buggy. Can the Spaniard put some time into the mini-horde where mountains will give way to dunes, and more dunes that will bring drama all around on tomorrow's 26 Minutes Dakar?